Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another movie theory. This one's going to be for James Bond. Basically, is James Bond, or at least the name James Bond, is it a code name? Or, James Bond is a code name. And yeah. Now to start off with, this theory, I've actually always believed in it, because just the basic premise of James Bond, he's a spy who he's a spy who's trying to work for the government, for the British government. He's basically a spy, doing missions and whatever. It's basically a spy story or spy movie franchise, whatever. So, first off, I do want to say that I've always believed that was the case, that James Bond, or at least the name, was a code name, and that will explain many stuff. Now I did do some research on this, and I did see, the not the pros and cons, but the the evidence that backs this up, and then the counter argument. And so yeah, basically for the evidence that backs this thing up, basically to start off with, within every few movies. First off, there's been 6 different people who have portrayed Bond. Sean Connery, Lazenby, Moore, Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig. So yeah, I don't know Lazenby's, Moore's, or Dalton's first name, but you have Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan, who have portrayed Bond, and also Dalton. I think it's Tommy Dalton or Timothy Dalton. Yeah, something like that. And also who else? Moore and Lazenby, who have portrayed Bond. So yeah. Also, I do want to point out, or it is pointed out, that we've had over 50 years of Bond, 52 to be exact, or more or less around 52 years to be exact. So we've had a long time with Bond, and also and that's only for the movies. You also have to remember that this is based off a book. I think who wrote the James Bond books? Let me search it up very fast here. Whatever. Yeah, Ian Fleming wrote James Bond. So, and that's obviously, like, at least I'm gonna say, I don't know when the first James Bond book came out, but I'm gonna say between 20 and 50-ish years before the actual first James Bond movie came out. There's the books. So I also do want to point that out. Okay, so now the actual evidence. Okay, so first off, I already said that the appearance differ because different actors have taken up the role of James Bond. Lazenby, Moore, Craig, Connery, Bronsan, and Dalton. So yeah, so obviously their appearance are gonna look different. Also, they also do want to be more specific. Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig is 11 years younger than the last time Pierce Brosnan was James Bond. So from the last time Pierce Brosnan was James Bond to the first time that Daniel Craig was James Bond, that's like an 11-year difference. So yeah, yeah. So that'd be like Casino Royale was Daniel Craig's first appearance as James Bond, and then what was it? Bronsan, his last appearance as James Bond. If I can remember. Whatever. I'll just search it up. Okay, so the appearance looks different, and obviously there is an obvious age difference. So yeah, there is an obvious difference. Yeah, in 2002, Die Another Day. That was Pierce Brosnan's last appearance as Bond, and then 2006, Casino Royale. Daniel Craig took up the role. So obviously there is an age difference and appearance difference or whatever. Also, they do point out that with every single Bond, or with every new Bond, there's also a personality switch, and that would be obvious. You have new people portraying the character. Obviously new people. So you'd have different mental stability, mental state, different ways of thinking. So yeah. Also, they do point out that M, who was played by Judi Dench in the most recent films, or her character M, has been in the films for a considerably long time, right around the beginning of the Bronze Age, Bronze era. And basically, they say that she's always been there and she's always aged, but James Bond, he's never theoretically aged. He's always, switched age, and he's always switched his age, switched his appearance, but nobody ever, comments on the fact that that's ever happened. Why they change his appearance or whatever. Now, that's all the positives or evidence for it. Now, there are some things that do, like the counter arguments, and one of them is that when Lazenby was James Bond, he was known to use gadgets such as the watch that Sean Connery used when he was James Bond, and I don't know about that because I haven't really seen that any. I've only seen one James Bond film, which is Skyfall, so I don't know about that, but I have seen pictures of it, and that is pretty notable. But then again, um, I guess it is expected that one, they'd have the same equipment, so they could always use it. They probably gave it to Lazenby after Connery left, theoretically. Also, when Moore was James Bond, they said he visited Lazenby's wife's when Lazenby's Bond wife, who was Tracy Bond, and also to piggyback on that, they say, why would Tracy Bond be called Tracy Bond if James Bond theoretically isn't the true name? So why would she choose that name? Now, is it to admire his job or something like that? I guess it will make sense, but not really. So yeah. Also, it says when Dalton was Bond, he is known by Felix Leiter to give an. Here it says here Dalton's Bond is known by Felix Leiter to have an abrupt marriage. Whatever that means, I guess has to do with the movies. Again, haven't seen any of the movies except for Skyfall. Yeah. Also, during Bronsan's Bond, it refers to the death of his wife, and the world is not enough. So I guess in that movie, it refers to the death of his wife, who is someone else, I believe. Yeah. Also, during Roger Moore, which I found it out during Roger Moore's Bond, he was recognized by a friend in Cambridge, which was during Doctor No, I believe, or set before Doctor No. So apparently, during one of his missions or whatever, he found a friend from Cambridge, and apparently he called him out and say, "Hey Bond, how's it going?" or something like that. Okay. And also it says Dalton, Timothy Dalton is still called James Bond when he went rogue, and he was never really replaced theoretically. So yeah, so basically when he went rogue, when he was supposedly killed off, I guess, nobody ever replaced him, but he still went by the name of James Bond. So yeah, also do want to point out from Skyfall that I don't know if you guys have seen Skyfall, but there's this one scene where the antagonists, they were giving out the information of many of the secret agents, and something I saw in there is that they had one name and then they gave out another name and they showed an image of this person. So I assume one is the real name and one is the code name. So that's pretty cool. And it kind of just crushes this theory by saying that James Bond theoretically is a code name, but it does have its flaws. So yeah, that's my belief. So yeah, this is about to get discharged to my computer, so I'm gonna do, quick reminder, I am having a 270 subscriber contest, movies and comics. Check my channel out for that. Besides that, comment down below on your thoughts on James Bond. What's your favorite movie, and do you think the name James Bond is an actual code name, or if it's not, why not? And do you have any evidence to prove it? Maybe sway my thoughts. Comment all that down below. Let me know. Subscribe. I do movie reviews, movie theories, comic book reviews, and TV show reviews. So definitely do stay tuned for that. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.